Hello beautiful people, welcome back to my YouTube channel. If you're new here, you're welcome. My name is rosinasharon. So today we're going to do a nude makeup tutorial. I'm going to try and be as detailed as possible on this video. And before we do that, kindly subscribe, share your thoughts on the comment section down below. I'll be reading all of them kama kawaida. And if you like the video, give it a big thumbs up. With no further ado, let us go straight into the video. Okay guys, so we're going to start off with the eyebrows. I'm just brushing my eyebrows with a spoolie first before I start lining. And for lining today, I am using the Davis number 3 eye pencil. And when you're lining, please follow the exact shape of your eyebrows. Don't overline or underline, if you understand what I mean. And then when you're lining, don't apply too much pressure. If you apply too much pressure, that line is going to be very, very thick. So just do it with very, very little force. And then after, I am going to use the Becca primer. If you're going to use a primer for this, kindly make sure it is a very mattifying primer. Okay, you can use the swap technique as well. So I'm just going to use that to brush through my eyebrows so they appear more visible, because I want my eyebrows to look as natural as possible. I'm sure if you have watched my previous videos, you have seen this technique a lot. So, and then after that, press it in, okay, so it holds. And then when it comes to filling in after that, only fill in the areas where you feel like there is space, because we want our eyebrows to appear natural. We are done with the very thick eyebrows and very artificial looking eyebrows. Nowadays we want them to look very natural, so only fill in the areas where you feel like there is a space. Okay, so after that, to clean our eyebrows, I am using the Eyelid Pro Concealer in the shade Fawn. And for this, kindly use a very angled brush. Don't use a fluffy brush for this. So when you're lining, kindly drag the concealer down as you go, so it's easier for you to blend when you're done. And then after that, use your finger to blend in the edges. You don't want a very harsh line showing around your eyebrows, so just use your fingers to dab around the edges so it blends in. So to set my eyelids, I'm going to use a different concealer. I am using the Eyelid Pro Concealer in the shade Medium Beige. This one has a white undertone to it. And the reason why I'm using this is when you use the normal concealer, the one that is 2 shades lighter, especially for our melanated skin, it does not make the eyeshadow, the pigment in the eyeshadow pop as much as it should be. So let me just illustrate to you the difference between using the normal concealer and a whitish concealer or a whitish primer. So using the same color of eyeshadow, just look at the difference it's going to make. So this is how the color appears when you use your normal eyelid concealer, and then when you use the whitish one, just look how bright that eyeshadow looks. The pigment is maintained when you use a whitish undertone for a concealer. So if you want the pigment to remain the same, use some white base as your, primer for the eyelids. And for this, concentrate that around the lower lid. So put the products around the lower lid and then blend it in. You don't want to use a white concealer just below your eyebrows. That line is going to look very harsh when you do that. So concentrate that around your lower lid and then blend it in going up. So for eyeshadow today, because we're doing nude eyeshadow, for transitioning shades, kindly go for browns for transition. If you want to do nude eyeshadow, I would advise for transition, always go for brown shades and concentrate that around the outer corner. And the secret here is you tap it in, don't drag your brush around. The pigment is going to be maintained and you're not going to crease when you tap it in instead of just moving your brush around. So make sure you tap it in and concentrate that around the outer corner. So when it comes to blending the first transition shade, make sure you use very neutral shades to blend and blend in at the edge of your first transition, and use a smaller fluffy brush. Make sure it is a fluffy brush. For blending, always use fluffy brushes, and then use circular motions and very little force to blend. And then after that is when now you can go for a slightly darker shade of brown around the outer corner, just to give it that ombre effect. And again, the secret is in tapping it in, don't drag your brush around. So for our cut crease region, we're going for this nude shade from the Cara Beauty eyeshadow palette. And as you realize, around the inner corner, you can see some creases. So I'm just going to blend that in using the same very brush I use to blend in the concealer. And please don't apply fresh product on that brush. Just use that brush as it is. We're not going to draw a cut crease today, and we want that pigment on the eyeshadow to remain the same. So just blend in around that area and tap, tap, tap. And then after that is when you can apply the nude eyeshadow. And again, tap it in. I'm going to emphasize on that, tap it in, until you guys understand how important it is to tap. Don't drag your brush around. So tap it in. As you can see, the pigment on the eyeshadow has been maintained. And the beauty of using the same brush you use to clean your eyebrows to apply that eyeshadow is, because it still has some product in it, it maintains the pigment on the eyeshadow. So after that is when I'm going to draw a wing eye. This is not very, very important. You can skip this part. And for this, I am using the e.l.f. waterproof eyeliner. e.l.f. transition. What is it? Transition? No. e.l.f. precision, not transition. e.l.f. precision. And then after that, I'm going to apply my falsies. These are from Lashed by Leen on Instagram. I'm going to leave the details on the description box down below, because I love, love, love these falsies. I've used them for a while now, and they still look new to me, so I would recommend this anytime. Moving on to the face, I am going to start off by mixing the Cerave moisturizing cream with the Cerave sunscreen, the hydrating sunscreen, because I don't have a moisturizer that has a sunscreen in it, and it's very, very important for you to use sunscreen. So I'm going to mix the two before I apply my primer, and just massage that in and let it rest first before you apply mascara on top of it. Okay, so after the moisturizer has set is when now you can use your primer, and I am using this Rimmel Stay Matte Primer. And then remember, after applying your primer, just tap it in, slightly tap it in so it is absorbed in the skin. It has better results when you do that. And today for our foundation, we are using the Fenty Beauty foundation. I've been waiting for this foundation for like forever. So today I got the chance to use it, and I am using the shade 420. And kindly use a damp beauty blender to blend in. Squeeze out the excess water fast before you start blending. And again, tap it in. I think I'm going to do a merchandise with that phrase, tap it in. It should be our motto for this channel, actually. Tap it in, okay? Tap, 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 tap. Tap until it all blends in. And please don't use too much product. I normally tell people this. That notion of the more the product you use, the more, you know, your face, you know, appears flawless. And then when you have, what are they called? When you have, say, acne scars, you put more product around that area. That is a very, very fake thing. Don't do that. Use as little product as you can, okay? If you want to achieve that flawless blend, use very little product. Alright, so next to highlight, I am using the Eyelid Pro Concealer in the shade Fawn. And I'm going to start off by highlighting the area around my under eye and then blend it in fast before I move to the other areas. And I think I've said this a couple of times before. This is very important, especially for beginners. Blend it in fast before you move to the next step, okay? So blend as you go, because most of the time the concealer dries out very, very quickly. So if you're not careful enough, by the time you get to the bridge of your nose, it would have creased around that region. So make sure you blend that in fast and then move on to the bridge of your nose, and then blend it in fast before you move to your forehead or the area around your mouth, depending on where you want to highlight. So, and then after that, now to set, I am using the Sacha Buttercup setting powder. And for this, make sure you blow off the excess powder on your beauty blender first and then press it in. And if you're a beginner, avoid baking. Start off by just setting, and then you can graduate eventually to baking. So after setting the areas you highlighted is when I moved to contouring, and I am using the MAC NW50 finishing powder to contour. So I'm just going to contour the area around my cheekbones, my forehead, and then my nose after. And for your nose contour, use a smaller brush and don't use too much product, okay? Emphasis on not using too much product. And then again, use very little force. If you use too much pressure, that area is going to be darker than it should be. So just use a very little force and blend in, starting just below your eyebrows going down. And then after, for the under eyes, use the same shade you used for your first transitioning shade. And then after that, you can use a creamy eyeliner around your waterline, and make sure you place that on your waterline. Don't drag it down. And then after that, I'm just going to apply a bronzer around the area I contoured, just to give it that shape. Is it a shape? That angled feel to it. And then after that, to set, I am using the Milani Make It Last setting spray. Then after all that, to highlight, I am using the Fenty Beauty highlighter in the shade Hustler, baby. Oof, look at that shine. Oh god. So moving on to the lips, I'm going to start off with Joanna K in Free Spirit. And if you're going for a nude lip, I would advise you start off, especially if you're going to do an ombre, start off with the brown shades. For any nude looks, browns are normally very, very good. They work well with any nude shade. So start off with the brown, and then you can move on to any. For this one I am using is Colourpop in Tulle. Is it Tulle or Tulle? Tulle. And please, if you're going to do an ombre lip, don't start with a very dark and then move on to a very bright color in the middle. Just give it a smooth transition. Don't the colors shouldn't be very far apart from each other if you want a very smooth blend. And that would be it from me today, guys. Let me know what you think about this whole look. I love how it looks. Let me know on the comment section, and if you have any more tips you want to share with us, any suggestions on what I should do for my next video, kindly do so on the comment section down below. Thank you so much for watching. I'll be seeing you in my next video. Bye.